Welcome back to TMZ Live. And if you were watching the election results come in last night, I think your perspective depends a lot on, quite frankly, race. Race was the pursuit of racial equality, justice, to improve the justice system for minorities in this country has been a huge issue. It has been a huge issue, obviously, for years, but really since George Floyd's murder, the whole nation was responding to this. And it felt like there was going to be finally some sort of reckoning on this issue. And then you watch the election results come in, and I don't know about you, Harvey. Look, we talked about the pollsters getting it wrong, but there are a large, obviously much larger than the pollsters thought, number of people who either are racist and support Donald Trump and some of the racist things he has said, or they at least are okay with it and they're not prioritizing racism. And we want to bring in our guest because Marc Lamont Hill, Dr. Marc Lamont Hill, was anchoring BET's election coverage and watched all this coming in. And so we want to get his perspective as well. Marc, welcome back to TMZ Live. Good to see you.
Hey, Marc.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good to see you again.
It's really good seeing you, and we're so glad that we have you today. What's your take on, what some people are calling a surprise and some people calling a media blunder in terms of the way people expected this to come out and the way it may have come out?
I mean, look, first, it was absolutely not just a media blunder, but a pollster blunder. What we've seen now, having two presidential elections with Donald Trump, is that we can't gauge his voting base very well. We suck at figuring out how well Donald Trump is going to do. In 2016, we were all at the Hillary party waiting for the balloons to drop and watching Trump pack up his stuff. We were wrong. This time around, we thought it would be a little bit closer, but all the pollsters said that he'd win. And yet he overperformed in all these states, Ohio, Florida. I mean, he did 5 and 6 points better than the pollsters predicted. We can't handicap Trump voters. There's a lot of reasons why, I think, but at the core, we don't do this well. And so that's a big part of it. The other part of it, though, that people are frustrated by is that this is even a close race at all.
Right. And I felt like as it was coming in, I felt like, all right, there are just a lot more people than I thought who, all right, best case scenario, they just aren't, that racism isn't, and racial equality is not in their top 3 of issues that are important to them.
I believe that if you are a person who doesn't identify as racist, but a person being racist isn't a deal breaker for you in terms of them voting, that you're just a racist who hasn't come to terms with it yet. I think it's one thing to say, look, they're all racist and I'm going to make the best choice I can. But it's another thing to say, one of these people stands next to white supremacists. One of these people stands next to white nationalists. One of these people finds it hard to denounce David Duke. One of these people doesn't push away people who march with tiki torches so that so that statues of slave owners don't get taken down. If one person's on the other side, you say, yeah, but I really like my tax rate, or yeah, but that $1,200 check was really nice. If that's your response and that racism just isn't that big of a deal, I think you got some soul searching to do.
So, Marc, I got to ask you this. There are a lot of people who voted for Obama in 2008, and I think some of them ended up voting for Trump in 2016 and maybe 2020, just when you look at the numbers. So how do you reconcile somebody voting for Obama and Trump, given your theory?
Yeah, it's absolutely possible that someone voted for Obama. But the problem is sometimes in our country, we think that if you voted for the black president or you have a black friend, that somehow absolves you of racism. It's possible, you're right, that people very consciously said, look, I like this Obama guy and I like this Trump guy. The question is why? Some people voted for Obama just so that they could advance the narrative that we were over race. Look, finally, if I just vote for Obama, this race thing will be over. And I got the free pass. Whenever somebody accuses me of being racist, I can not only to the black people who've been in my house, I can say I voted for Obama, so there. That's part of the reason.
I mean, we're laughing about it, Marc, but we all have heard that actually said by someone in real life, right? I mean, I know I have.
Yes. Yes.
So, I want to get into something with you, Mark, because, there was a tweet that Jamel Hill, she tweeted something last night in the heat of all of this, and it landed differently on certain people. And the tweet said, if Trump wins
Charles
re-election...
and I were talking about this last night on the phone.
Yeah. If Trump wins re-election, it's on white people, no one else. Now, some people, and this is why
hold on. Can I read it a different way?
Yeah, put it up. And this is why punctuation matters.
It could be read, if Trump wins re-election, it's on white people.
How much of this, if Trump wins and if you are opposed to Trump, how much is that accurate? Do you blame it on white people, as Jamel put it?
I blame it on everybody who voted for Trump, first of all. I mean, there's still, right now, some exit polling says that 15% of black men voted for Trump, 8% of black women. I'm head scratching about those people as well. But yes, this is ultimately an election that will be won by the number of white people that are okay with white nationalism, that are okay with racism, that are okay with all of the things, the anti-immigrant sentiment. This is an election won by white people. And even when Obama won in 2008, most white people didn't vote for him, right? I mean, ultimately, we got to look to white people and they have to hold themselves accountable.
If Biden wins, it's going to be by not a lot. And you will probably also have a Republican Senate. So you'll have a Congress divided. Does this really kind of hijack an agenda for equality? Because what's going to happen is you've got people on the left who are going to be pushing Biden to do certain things, and that Biden might be scared now to do it because if he's going to pass the torch and people react negatively to something that they view as extreme, they could lose in 2024. So this could actually derail plans for meaningful change. That's kind of the way I'm processing it now. I'm wondering how you react to that.
I think that your concerns and your processing is accurate to the extent that Biden is already a careful politician. He's going to be extra careful, not just thinking about 2024, because all politicians get elected to get reelected. They're all thinking about the next election, but because they're not going to have a mandate. Again, people wanted a sweeping mandate. They wanted all of America, or at least a larger number of Americans, to be behind pushing Trump out. Even if Trump loses, lots of Americans support him. The Senate stayed the way it was. They didn't swing the Senate. They didn't flip a lot of seats. That means that it may be business as usual. But for once, I need Democrats. And I talk about this in my new book. Speaking of hijacking, I'm going to do a cheap plug. My new book is called We Still Here, Pandemic, Policing, Protest, and Possibility. One of the things I talk about is having a new vision of the future, having a courage to say, you know what, Republicans don't play fair. Let's stop being polite. They ram Supreme Court justices through. They advance policy that hurts our interests. They say awful things and don't apologize for it. I'm not saying let's be awful people, but let's be courageous and bold and not worry so much about what the future is going to hold and the political calculus. Let's just do the right thing and articulate a vision of the future that reflects who we are at our best. If we do that, we got a shot.
All right.
Mark, we love your perspective.
Mark, love having you on. By the way, we should tell people your book is out next week, although people can pre-order it now if they want. I love the title, and it really works. Really, no matter who ends up winning the presidency, it is accurate and important stuff there, man. Thank you so much, Mark.
Appreciate you guys. Love being with you guys.